Welcome back to Scinary Information Nexus, your podcast of sin.
That is getting better.
Thank you.
That is getting way better. Welcome, everyone. It is Friday, October 3rd, 2025. And as usual, I am joined by Joseph Hamilton.
Yo.
Mario Ortiz.
Yo.
And today we have a special guest, Daniel Hamilton. Hello, Mr. Hamilton, the other Mr. Hamilton.
Hello, yeah.
And for the sake of full disclosure, you two guys know each other. Is that right?
A little bit.
Yeah. We have met.
What, about 34 years now?
Yeah,
almost 35?
Yeah.
Wow, long
That's
time.
my dad.
Oh, okay. I was going to say long
Hello,
time
Dad.
buddies, huh?
So I gotta add, so you're 34?
Yeah. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know. You look 45.
I mean, yeah.
He's always looked old.
I was going to say it's the business that he's in.
Look, for some reason, I started getting gray hair in 2016. Since then, it's just been keeping on going.
It's only going to get worse.
Uh-huh.
It's all right. It's all right. What did y'all hear that too?
It wasn't me.
It's the TV.
No, it was my watch that went off. There we go.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, are you recording this?
New sounds in the studio.
So today, I did not buy the beer today, by the way.
No, this one's all on me.
Joe bought the beer, and I am drinking a Founders Scotch style ale called "You Dirty Bastard."
Hey, a dirty bastard.
Yeah, and it is good. It is. I haven't been excited about beer since like Schlitz put out malt liquor.
Though, of course, I think most people, whenever they hear the term "dirty bastard," they think of dirty old bastard from Austin Powers. Get in my belly.
Yeah. Dirty bastard.
I've never seen the movie.
You would probably love it, actually.
Probably so.
So what do you got there?
I got Obsidian Stout. Deschutes. I don't know, however you say that company name. I love my stouts. It's like a
So is that
coffee.
like a German stout?
I'm guessing. Let's see here. Let's see what it says. Well, no, that's just telling me how obsidian gets made.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Mario, what you got over there that you're never going to drink?
Yeah. So, well, does the audience know that there's nothing in here?
Yeah, no, it's full
props.
and it's cold.
So, it says, "Of Kolsch, I still love you, honey Kolsch style ale."
How's it taste?
You know, based on the packaging, it probably tastes good. It probably does. You know, I ate before today.
Oh, are we about to? Is this?
Ooh,
That is-
crisp.
Very crisp. All right, I'll save that for later.
You better not waste that beer. You know where our client base is? They'll come hunt you down.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
All right,
Okay.
Not
good.
too bad.
Resounding.
Right. And
thank you.
Daniel, what you got over there? Oh, you got a dirty bastard too.
I have I'm a dirty bastard all the way.
Very good. Well, Daniel, thank you for joining us today because you work in an industry that is, I don't think we think about this industry when we talk about cybersecurity. At least I don't think about it a lot. And that is broadcast television. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you've been working in that industry for how long?
I believe this is my 38th year in the industry.
I see. And tell the ladies and gentlemen exactly, kind of what you do, what your typical day is like.
Well, yeah, I'm the creative director with a local broadcast station here in Waco with the Gray Media Group. But in addition to the duties I do with that, I serve in several technology areas with Gray. I help administer the drone admin committee for our drone program, which is grown. And Gray Media Group is a large broadcast group. We are currently at 118 stations. We'll be at almost 130 by the end of the year.
Wow.
And so we cover most of the country.
Is that acquisitions of current like news areas, or you're like
They're
you're
making new
expanding?
ones.
Yeah, no, we're acquiring other operations.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
feel
So-
free to not answer some of these.
Yeah,
if
that's
it
okay.
jeopardizes your
No.
career.
I mean, it's common. We're a publicly traded company,
Right. So
You can look-
mergers and acquisitions.
It's all up front and out there for everyone to see. I'm not saying anything that's not that I haven't read in the trades. And then I help with marketing technology for all of the gray stations. So I put together a gear guide. I look at the marketing tools. I go to National Association of Broadcasters and do a convention, do a bunch of research into technology, and then I build a full color gear guide of here's the camera kits you can choose, here's the editing systems that you can use, and then that is dispersed to all the stations. So when they get capital, so that they can do capital improvements in their operation, that gear guide is used as their guide on what is pre-approved to purchase.
Right. So one of the things that made it interesting, and again, thank you for coming on to talk about this, because I just got interested in it like in the last week when we started talking about this, but that's changes that are coming to broadcast TV.
Yeah.
Now, in the research that I've conducted, broadcast TV is at an all-time low since the invention of the television. I think it is that it's 18.5% of the United States still use broadcast, like regular rabbit ear TVs over broadcast airwaves. Now, we were talking at lunch, and that number I actually got from Nielsen, which could be dubious at best.
Yeah,
is that correct?
More to come.
Yeah, and
it's all
to try to avoid a lawsuit from Nielsen. I won't disperse them, but I'm not real fond of their methods, and sometimes I think things are askew. Our company, we see the decline in broadcasting, but we see the new opportunities that exist, which is why we no longer. We used to be gray television. And now we're Gray Media Group. And the reason is because we produce media content that's distributed on every platform. Broadcast is one of those platforms.
Right.
But there's nothing that we produce on broadcast that you can't really find on a streaming app or one of our personal apps, or in some cases just distributed on other TV sources even. So we just try to
so broadcast
everything.
Broadcast is just one part of the overall ecosystem of getting information out to consumers, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, obviously, we produce content so we can sell advertising, because that's how we pay for the ability to produce content. I think local broadcasting it will be going through evolutions and changes, but I believe local broadcasting is critical to the media infrastructure of the United States.
Yes.
And I think the loss of it would be disheartening.
We actually had a discussion about this in the Security Operations Center just a few days ago, that we've got a lot of conspiracy theorists that work for us, and
I know a few.
Yeah, their conspiracy is that the federal government is mandating that AM radios be in all cars. And that was the worst thing.
That one was not my conspiracy.
Yeah, that was not yours.
Since I just raised my hand, this one's not me.
That AM radios mandated, like there's a law being pushed that all car manufacturers need to install AM radios. And the theory was, which I smacked down wholeheartedly, was that it was one political party wanted that to happen, so they were mandating it now. And I'm like, well, but that's not really true, because emergency broadcast system, which I think is where local media, that's a critical part of local media as well. If you have an emergency in your hometown, I mean, sure, you can go to Facebook, but I don't know of anybody that turns on like the CBS Parent in New York to figure out what's going on in Waco.
And like tornadoes and like inclement weather here in our local community is a prime example of that.
Even for people who say, oh, well, I'm getting my news from Facebook. Well, chances are, if you're getting your news from Facebook in Central Texas, the news you're getting on Facebook is probably coming from KWTX. We have 600 I think we might have just passed 700,000 followers for our Facebook feed. So that content's still, and that's sort of the point, is that we create the content and then it's distributed everywhere, wherever people.
Here's the other thing. Yeah, here's the other thing about getting your news from Facebook.
Yeah, you should.
Don't. Because unless it's a reputable like media source on Facebook, right? But if you're following people that seem to be in the know, and Sally down the street says, "Hey, there's a tornado coming or whatever," man, don't do that, because what you're doing is, first of all, you're falling for a narrative that may or may not be true, because it's not coming from a trusted source. And we all know the stories about misinformation on Facebook. I'm not going to get into that. Suffice to say, in my mind, local broadcasting, there is a place for local broadcasting, specifically when it comes to reporting on like emergency management of the community that local broadcasting is serving. My question, I've got many, but one of my questions, and we're going to talk about the evolution of broadcast and what that really means here in just a little bit. Do you ever see Gray Media, Cox, Sinclair doing a subscription model for broadcast TV?
Well,
No.
can they?
As long as we're licensed broadcast television, we can't. Because our license says we have an obligation and duty to serve the public. And the newscasts we produce and distribute is part of that service to the public. We're informing the public about what's going on in their community. We are the source when severe weather comes into our area, and all of that is part of our service to the community, which doesn't stop there. We service the community through charity events that we help sponsor, through a few events that we do ourselves. We do a one-day food drive called Food for Families. It's coming up here soon in November, and in one day, it's the largest one-day food drive in the state of Texas. And it happens here in Waco. We'll do, I think we did 2.8 million pounds of food one day.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And it's been a big event that's been going on. Our station started, and it's been going on for over 30 years. And
broadcast TV is a prime driver of events like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think we can all agree that there's a spot for broadcast TV. I know it's not the go-to any longer, like it was when you and I were younger.
There's so many more options.
Yeah,
which I'm glad you mentioned that, because what I was going to more or less ask is, can we explain what that really is? And the reason I ask is because obviously we get like Amber Alerts and all sorts of like emergency alerts, on our phones. I'm used to getting those. But I am just old enough to remember whenever I'd flip to channel 8 or channel 11, I can't remember, and it would be
the broadcast test. Yeah,
very correct. Right.
Those are still done weekly.
Really? But see,
if you're not watching it, you don't see it.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. How many of the younger generation, even past my generation, actually know what it is?
Yeah, I don't know, because and we had a healthy conversation at lunch about this as well. Media encompasses so much now, right? It's just not TV or radio any longer.
No, way more than that.
Yeah, but I'm subscribed to a couple of local news stations. I've got their app, and I click, hey, turn notifications on. If there's a weather event, I get that notification of the weather event, not from the National Weather Service,
right, but from the local,
local station, right? And even though it's not over broadcast airwaves, it's still a local media company putting that out.
I think that's the interesting transition point here to our first topic, which is that because of the decrease in use of broadcast and in the plethora of other ways that we are now delivered media, like you said, your company's having to pivot and change. And because of that, you have other solutions that are coming about, like ATSC.
ATSC 3.0, NextGen.
Yeah, NextGen. Thank you. Yeah, well, NextGen from now on. But this new broadcast method that's going to be coming about in, say, the next 3 years. I mean, I know adoption is maybe a little bit slow, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Yeah. but because they're having to find other ways of delivering these sources and monetizing this, which is a big part of it, we're now seeing a development of new technology that, from our side, is interesting because the first thing I thought about is how can I use it?
Yeah.
Well, I think the big thing is understanding the life cycle, right? New technology comes out. No one drives a car from 100 years ago, really, right? We all like the modern stuff. And I think about the TVs now. That's kind of what I was mentioning earlier. So I was, I had a small taste of having a CRT, and then you put the little antenna on top, and then you finagle the thing.
Oh, the good old bunny ears.
Yeah, so I do remember that.
With tinfoil.
But
You do not look old enough to remember that, but okay.
I've lived a couple lives before now.
He's like a cat.
But I think about the technology that's readily available now. You can go to Walmart and pick up a TV for $50 and it connects to the internet. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, the local media, like if you want local news, you're going to have to subscribe to an app on that smart TV.
Right.
To get that local news. Because if you're subscribing to ABC or CBS, they're not going to bring you local news.
Or stick an antenna on it and click scan and find out you have 28 local over-the-air stations that don't cost you anything.
Or the new thing, which is the NextGen, right?
Yeah, that's what we were going to lead into.
Which,
Depending on your market.
Right.
I want to talk about the old days. You keep trying to bring me back
But it's the new stuff that's interesting, right?
So, Daniel, talk about that for a little bit. Let's talk about NextGen or ATSC 3.0, what that actually is.
Yeah.
What we can get into the technology of it, but what it's replacing.
Right.
And when it would be implemented and all that stuff.
There's a couple of big question marks in some of that. So like we talked about, let's talk about the broadcast model in general a little bit right now. Is that we are free over-the-air television. Anybody can, and we're licensed by the federal government, and we have a duty to serve the public, and that duty to serve the public and everything is funded through advertising sales on our station. Based on viewership ratings, and that's how we pay for the things so that we can provide the weather service and news service to serve our community.
And those ratings are where Nielsen comes in.
But the world is changing, and like you and I remember of having 3 networks and that being the only choices there were, but now there's a billion, and so Gray is in the process of changing their model. And they have to, but not just Gray, Sinclair, Cox. It doesn't matter who. Everyone's going through this. Everyone's taking a slightly different slant to how they're getting there. But the idea is that we have to build a model that distributes to all those other places, in a way where we can still sell advertising and make money to pay for the content that's produced.
Right.
And that's the big change. And one of the reasons why, my personal opinion, and this may or may not be related to the opinions of anybody at the top of Gray, but ATSC or NextGen is going to be could be the salvation of broadcasting, because it turns us into a broadcasting version of digital. So free over-the-air television that has interactive capabilities, both in advertising distribution by selective advertising placement in front of only people, so that you get one ad, he gets a different ad, because we have back-end metadata on what else you search for on your phones and your
metadata. You say,
yeah. So
we know that
and
word.
This is where it starts getting into the interesting stuff for me,
right?
Because first of all, and we've talked a little bit ad nauseum of this, and we don't have the full technical detail.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. So here, I want to primer this discussion just a little bit. So ATSC or NextGen Broadcasting is going to replace the current broadcasting infrastructure by and large.
They will run in
tandem
for a very long time, I expect.
Okay.
Just like we continue to broadcast in SD for a very long time.
Yes.
Because you have to wait because the transition time for everybody. I mean, the
manufacturers have to catch up, all that stuff.
Going to next gen. I mean, we're already reaching a point where manufacturers are being required in their next televisions to put the appropriate tuners in.
Right.
But right now, for every person in America who has a TV and we want them to be on the next gen, they would have to have a new set.
Right.
And that's going to take time. So even if every broadcaster in the country switched to next gen tomorrow, it still wouldn't be received by most Americans. They would still receive our regular broadcast, and so that's going to be time. And
but the investment, like on Gray, is going to be huge. I mean, you've got to get all the equipment to be able to do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even when we went HD, HD was a $1.5 to $2 million investment per station to switch to an HD transmitter with no new monetary gain.
Right. That's
Now,
just to keep up, right?
Right.
And well, because it was a requirement from the FCC saying we had to change to this by this date.
Now, is there any requirement that you know of from the FCC right now for this particular model?
That date's still up and open, I believe.
It is,
It has been for a while.
the research, the FCC is like, they're all about this. They want this.
yes.
They want it to happen. Yeah.
It's just setting that deadline has been
Well, I mean, there's a lot of obstacles for companies to overcome to make that happen. It requires partnerships in the markets between the broadcast stations who are competitors and sometimes not friendly competitors.
Got any juicy stuff there?
No, I have nothing to say. And then
You got to pay for those.
and then the investment and then convincing, the FCC wants it to happen. But again, if it happens and people don't have the TVs yet, then that means we spend the money without monetary return.
Right.
right.
Because we can't make the additional, because there's new revenue streams that come out of NextGen TV for us that will offset things and help a lot. Just like that's what we did with when we went HD to start with. We're going, okay, we're making these investments and we're not getting anything in return. And then we started, new codecs came out and we said, oh, well, we can run more than one stream through this new digital transmitter. So we added a stream, and then we added a stream, and we added a stream.
That's why you have like 10.2, 10.8.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's how we developed revenue streams. Some of those networks for us are pass through, so we just get paid to broadcast them. Some of those networks are licensed by us, and we have all the advertising inventory in them. But that model is what made it all viable and made it work so that Gray could continue to grow. And now that the deal is with NextGen to figure out how to make that work.
The advantage to the NextGen broadcasting signal, as I understand it, is that the broadcasters are now going to be able to push up to 4K resolution at 120 frames per second.
Unlikely that it will be done, though. Because what's more likely to be done is that they're going to push 5, 7, 8 HD streams through that bandwidth instead.
I see.
So quantity over quality.
Yeah. Because like right now, our station has 8 networks, and when we switch to that, we're going to still want those 8 networks. All those 8 networks. Like right now, in order to get all the 8 networks in the bandwidth that we have, CBS is in full 1080, but then you get to another network and it might be only at 720. You get some of the networks are actually in SD widescreen, so they're not even in HD. Because that's how we could squeeze them into the bandwidth. Obviously, with the adjustment in bandwidth for NextGen, we would be able to have all those signals to probably look better. But more importantly, and I think, we were talking about the weather thing a little while ago, and I think weather is the biggest thing that NextGen can affect, where I can say, hey, going to this is going to benefit the community.
Right.
And that is that. And we get yelled at all the time. So Brady Taylor comes on because there's a massive tornado on the ground and it's causing problems. And we get calls that say, "Hey, you're interrupting my program." I don't care that Colleen is getting hit by a tornado.
Correct.
I live in Waco.
We love Colleen.
Put my show back on.
Colleen sponsor us.
And right. So what would change with that is that we would have the ability to put those tornadoes alerts and warnings only up in the areas affected, the people that need to see it, which would tell you a couple of things. One, it was not interrupt people who don't need to know that information, but more importantly, it would let you know that if you're seeing the information,
you need to
you
act.
are
Probably
in
affected.
you're
Which
in
means
trouble.
less false positives, less
So-
alert fatigue.
so
That's our ballpark.
So let's talk about the infrastructure around the next gen broadcasting or the ATSC 3.0. Because we talked about this, and we're cyber nerds, and so the first thing that we think of is how can we weaponize this? Because that's
Who's going to hack it and how?
because there are
I have an answer for that.
yeah, there are people having those conversations now. This is going to be different from traditional broadcast in that right now, if I get a TV and it has a digital tuner, I can put some rabbit ears on it and grab a broadcast, right?
Right.
You guys don't know
No, we do not.
who is watching your shows.
No.
You rely on Nielsen to call people, or I guess it was used to call people.
Well,
but
they do it through books. They still do a few books. Now they have digital devices that they put in people's homes.
yeah,
And now they do use some connected TV stuff that people use in smart TVs to watch our channel. So they're getting that information if they're using a smart TV, like they subscribe to YouTube TV and they're watching Channel 10 through the local broadcasting on that or doing something.
they'll
like
tie
that.
into the API or whatever.
So they get some data like that. They have more data than they used to have.
But it's clunky.
Yeah, it's very.
The current Nielsen thing is clunky.
I think their methodology is clunky, is my personal opinion. But
The point is, somebody had to volunteer to give that data up before Nielsen got it.
Right. Somehow, some way.
yeah,
Some way.
they pay people to put these in their homes. I don't think they do it voluntarily. Like even when they used to send you a book, it'd be stupid. They'd send you a book in $1 or $5 or something, and it would be in the book.
But I had the choice. I could not fill the book out.
Yes, right.
Right. Or I could lie about it.
Right.
Whatever. I like Bonanza.
I mean, I received a book once, and I shouldn't have because I'm in the industry.
You were fixing the game.
And they shouldn't have sent it to me, and I just didn't fill out the book.
The difference in NextGen is all that goes out the window because the TVs are going to have a decryption key to decrypt the tuner or to decrypt the signal that's coming to the TV, which means they're going to know everything about that TV. Is that right?
Well, we're going to know everything about that TV, and because of our other digital advertising tools, we're going to be able to correlate between what they're watching now, what they searched for on their phone earlier, what they searched for on their computer earlier, because everybody has a footprint, and then make sure that what we serve them in advertising because of that information, if they're watching us, that we're serving them ads relevant to what they're looking for, as opposed to broadcasting, which is we're serving the ad to everyone who's watching the program, hoping we're hitting some of the target. Now we would only hit the targets.
So in this is an interesting subject that I don't think we've gotten into very much, but I kind of want to give a broader picture to those who are tuning in who maybe are not as familiar with it or maybe don't think about it very much. But even as you exist now in the world, with Google and the way that they do like their surveillance, for lack of a better word, there's all these different tags that they put in different websites that are sometimes just small pixels that can help track where you go, and your device has an identifier that says that this device is what connected to it. Your network has an IP that it tends to get. Even if you use a VPN, they still have the tracking of the device and other footprints that let them know if you're using anything that, like, you're logged into Google in order to do your searches. Google now knows that. So there's this large ecosystem, and people always are like spooked by whenever they talk about something in the room, and then all of a sudden Google serves them an ad.
Yeah.
Because they're listening.
It's because there are so many different telemetry points that they can grab for that, and some apps are listening. Maybe those apps are selling that data to Google in order to get a little bit of a kickback, and now that data is being incorporated into how they serve ads. But so this is going to be added into that ecosystem of
Well, it allows broadcasters to do digital advertising over the air,
right,
as opposed to exclusively across the internet, although it's ultimately across the internet. I mean, what will happen is if you're watching TV and you decide to go to an on-demand show from Channel 10, so you miss the newscast and it's 5:25 and you want to pick up the newscast from the beginning, you click restart the program. When it'll restart the program. When it restarts the program, you're actually no longer receiving the broadcast signal. It switched to a streaming signal on the back end, and you're getting a stream of what just played. And so it's this seamless integration back and forth. So you never know whether the local broadcast is streamed.
All I'm saying is when I'm sitting in my chair at 11:30 at night and I'm eating a bag of Doritos, if I see an ad on my TV that says, "Richard, are you out of Doritos yet?" I'm going to freak out.
Well, but here's the fun part from a cybersecurity perspective, right? You just told your TV, I want to go back and watch that ad, right? And it's not watch the ad, but go back and restart the program, right? And it's receiving information about this from over the air. Ostensibly, because are the commercials happening over the backhaul as well? They must be, because if you're able to differentiate,
there would be a broadcast play of commercials, I believe, but then there would also be targeted stuff on the back end.
Yeah,
which means over that OTA, the over the air signal, has to be able to give calls to go back and grab the right commercial for that TV, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
So if you're able to usurp that signal at all,
well,
could you ostensibly bypass the firewall and tell the TV to go pick up malware?
So, but that's always been a risk in broadcast TV. Yeah. Is if I can hijack the station or the signal, I can broadcast whatever I want.
Right, yes, you can broadcast whatever you want, but it would not affect networks. You would affect what they see on the TV, but there was no IP backend.
Long live Max Headroom.
Well, I mean, so many televisions now are smart TVs that might not entirely be true anymore.
True.
November 22nd, 1987.
I remember. Was that the greenhead guy?
Max Headroom.
Yeah,
he's like the guy who's...
Some dude hacked the Chicago broadcast.
Yeah, wasn't his mask green?
It was Max Headroom. He has no mask.
Max Headroom's a digital character from an 80s show.
Anyways...
Not even a digital character, a well-made-up character.
Yeah, drink your beer.
This beer's working.
I can tell. So, but that's always been a risk in stuff like that, right?
I guess it's the fact that these two spheres are starting to coalesce in a way that I question, and I'm sure that I know that there's a security foundation that is specifically looking at, and we know already that there are certificate-based protocols, and that they need a decryption key and everything else, right? So we know there's security going into it, right? But we live in a security world where there's always security going into it, and yet things happen. Well, I'm wondering what the effect is.
Everything's hackable eventually, right?
Right. And whenever you have other things like the big merger between was it Nexstar and Tegna? Yeah. They're going to have access to 88% of the households, the broadcast households. So, do the math there. But 88% of the households in the market for being able to do stuff like this.
So I get you.
So supply chain attacks are a huge thing.
But so think about what you just said there. Supply chain hack. If I'm going to do a supply chain hack, I'm going to get further up in the supply chain and get the chips. I don't even have to worry about the broadcast.
True.
Right? I'd go after the motherboard themselves and the ICs.
But with like the telecom hack from Salt Typhoon, we see them targeting infrastructure, and this would be telecommunication infrastructure. It'd be in line with that.
So what I can't, and pretty quickly you start getting out of my field of expertise here, but what I can tell you is that when it comes to NextGen TV, America's late to the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And South Korea has been on it for a while.
Since May 2017.
There you go.
For the Olympics.
So,
oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So we're way behind, and obviously they've had to deal with those kind of concerns. Obviously, there's got to be some security protocols and measures that have been put in place to do that. I know our company, we have an entire cybersecurity division of our company, whose job is to keep our company safe. And so I got to think that they're working through these things, but it still comes back to the old adage: everything's hackable. So at some point in time, someone will find a way to misuse it.
I don't think that the hacking of it is like not my primary concern.
Yours is the privacy concern of the amount of data about you going over.
Well, but here's the difference.
How much of that data does the FCC get?
All the things that would the only thing that would happen is that instead of Google having all that information that they already get from you, or pick another massive provider, Apple, whoever you want to say,
Meta, yeah,
who all have that information on you, instead of them having it, large broadcast groups are going to have that same data, and they're not going to have to. I mean, this look, and maybe some of the delays and why this is happening, because the reality is if broadcasting gets to this point and successfully pulls it off across the entire United States, let's say our entire group, then that affects Nielsen and Nielsen's data and how much we need Nielsen's data anymore because we have our own data. But it doesn't stop there. It affects how much consumer data we're going to pay Meta for, or
even Google's ad revenue.
Google's ad revenue.
Because if you can serve those ads to people through another source other than Google, then all of a sudden Google's ad revenue, which is right now, it is the end all be all almost for the internet and delivering ad streams.
It makes broadcast a player on that field of which they're not right now, and that's why I think it stands a chance to be the savior of broadcasting. And the payoff is that free television over the air remains, because the consequences of where we're headed now is 5 or 10 years down the road. It doesn't.
So I still think that there's probably room in the, like you said, you're governed by the FCC, which means it's a community service that it has to be free. But you're serving ads to kind of make it free.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think there's still room for a subscription model in there that if you subscribe, you don't have to get the ads, and we're still providing free TV, but if you want the free version,
so basically it's like you automatically get Hulu with ads, but you have to pay if you want the no ad tier. Yeah,
exactly. But beyond that, what I think it does, and I think you hit on something there that I'd not really fully digested, is that what it does is it puts traditional broadcasting on par with YouTube, with the cut the cord people, right? So it's just another choice,
right?
At that point,
and that's huge for that industry,
right? And while it's still a choice, it's not a very good choice in its current form.
There's that.
Just because of how easy it is to get a subscription to, say, like YouTube, and to just go and find what you want to watch on that. I don't have rabbit ears. I don't watch local broadcasting TV. I do have a subscription to DirecTV that if something is going down, like a tornado's on the ground or something, I will spin that up and watch, Channel 10 and, watch the weather or any kind of emergency stuff. But I think if I had a choice, like, hey, this is another option that you could do, watch broadcast TV and get the same information, but maybe skip the ads, that would be great. I think that would be a fantastic idea. I'd pay for that.
Well, see, I think there's a shift though. Kind of being one of the younger guys at the company. Well, actually, not so much anymore. We got a bunch of youngins now.
You old head.
It's good to feel old, isn't it?
My knees hurt.
He's young. He just doesn't look like it.
My knees just started hurting. They started popping.
Yeah. Well.
But I do believe that it would probably have some clientele increase, like with all the new generation stuff, but not even just my generation and the couple that came after. We're just so needy. We want instant gratification. We want, I'm glad ads are tailored for me. aside the privacy concern aside, like what if I do need a bag of Doritos? What if I am running low? and it reminded me of it, right?
Get on your phone, get on DoorDash.
Maybe there's some good stuff to happen there. But aside from like the local need, like you were saying, is there ever really a purpose to watch local broadcasting when I can have direct access to the content I want?
Well,
but you would be able to have direct access to the content that we provide on all the networks that we have. Just like you do for streaming now.
So you have an on-demand
broadcast without paying for it.
And without an internet connection, right?
Well, no, you still have to
have an internet connection
For the decryption stuff to work.
Well, for the back end stuff.
For the
right.
back end stuff.
In order to be able to do anything streaming, all that's happening.
Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
just local,
because the over
Local
the air is still just a
Right.
Straight signal.
just a linear stream.
Very good. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds, because I'm obviously I'm skeptical of media companies, and that's no offense to anybody here. But
all taken.
yeah, I'm just I hope it works out, and I hope it works out for the betterment of the good folks here in the United States, because Jamaica's already adopted it.
Oh, well, it's fine.
I mean,
If Jamaica
if you got the Rastafarians saying it's a good idea,
That's
yeah,
good stuff.
right?
Well, a lot of Europe's doing it. A lot of Asia's doing it. So, like I said, we're very late to this game.
as we are on a lot of different stuff. But there's another part of your job that I want to discuss, and you were in charge of the drone program at Gray Media.
Yeah. I help administer our drone program for all TV stations across the United States that we do. We have a couple of hundred drones, probably almost 500 pilots, and I manage the systems that we do that, and I manage trying to make hardware decisions with what drones we're going to use next.
And that's become harder.
And for the
lately.
last 2 years, that has been the bane of my existence, because I have had to constantly keep
Talk about it, Daniel.
had
We
to-
are here for you.
I have constantly
talk
had
about
to keep
that.
up with what next stupid decision the United States government's making.
Preach.
And the current situation for us right now is that the CCP Act got passed as part of the other legislation, and in it they required a research committee, an investigation committee, to look into if there was an actual national security threat from Chinese drone manufacturers at the consumer level. And but what has happened?
Did the committee find that it was?
No. What has happened is no said committee has been put together.
Oh.
No said committee is doing everything, and the law says that if a report is not given in December, then the ban goes into effect.
Okay.
So they just haven't made one.
So
the ban's going to go into effect.
So what does that mean? The ban means that you can't buy.
You will
Chinese drones?
not be able to buy any Chinese manufactured drone or drone technology.
What if you already got one?
You're going to jail.
R7.
Okay, for right now, because there were two conversations that were being had about this at one point. For right now, if you have one, and we have a lot of them, probably 85% of our fleet's DJI. You should still be able to fly it, but you will not be able to get parts for it again,
Right.
Unless they're already in the U.S. And you won't be able to buy new ones. However, the FCC has said that they're considering with the ban at one point. I don't know if this is going to happen. Haven't seen any written legislation about this happening yet. But they had talked about retracting the frequencies that were given to those DJI drones that have already been sold, which would ground 2.5 million DJI drones in the United States or something like that.
So I have a question. Why? Why the drones?
Okay, there's some people in Congress who believe that they're using it to spy on us. And here's what I have to say from how we use the drone. I use the drone, and I'm following the FAA rules and regulations. My drone transmits a remote ID because the FAA requires it, right? And that remote ID is trackable by anyone who downloads an app on their phone.
Yes.
That they can know I'm in the air and where I'm in the air at. I'm shooting video that's going to a broadcast television station and then broadcast to the general public. So there's nothing in my pipeline that the Chinese couldn't have by standing on the ground here or watching it over the airwaves or watching it online or
by the iPhone that was made in China.
Yeah, right.
By listening in on that.
Right. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. I'm absolutely for the U.S. government not using Chinese-made drones. I think it was stupid that they were doing it to start with.
Yeah.
And they should make their own drones. The other big dilemma that we come to with this, now we mostly fly what would be classified as prosumer drones. And we do that mostly for a price point consideration because we get all the features we need at a more reasonable price point. Because we're using it to get video of, for news, for
B-roll,
for incidents, or I'm shooting marketing video for clients and stuff like that. We're doing stuff like that with it. There is agriculture and industrial and all that, and that's the next level of drones that are up. And unfortunately, that's all that is really made in America. If there are any American drones, they are designed for industrial or military, heavy military or first responder functionality. And those drones, cost 3 times the price of what we've been paying.
Yes.
And contain a load of features we don't need.
I can attest to that personally. I own a drone. It's a 6K drone, and I can't remember the manufacturer, but it's Portland, Oregon. I think is where the manufacturer is. And made in the USA. Yeah. I got that drone, and it was extremely more expensive than the DJI.
Yeah, well, we're looking at right now. We're looking at Anzu Robotics. A Raptor for our company to be the replacement for DJI. It's actually built on the DJI platform.
So the weird thing
they license from China, and we're told that's going to be okay.
The odd thing about my drone is when I crack it open, those ICs are made in China.
Yeah. So all the components are still Chinese. It was just assembled in the United States.
So
that makes
because it's basically just a Raspberry Pi, right?
Yeah,
running
that makes it okay.
Drone software.
So here's what the big turn is whenever this ban goes into effect, because it's Chinese drone technology. Period.
Yeah,
that means that there's not an American-made drone manufacturer who doesn't have a Chinese component in their drone.
Agreed.
Either motors or motherboards, IC chips, the sensors, and so what that's going to do so now you have what's called NDAA Blue certified, and that's the drone you're looking for as an American drone company, is that you're looking for something that has the NDAA Blue certification, because that means that it is approved on the list and you can have it. And those are hard to find and hard to come by, and they always come with an additional price tag. So we were spending about $6,000 for a drone.
I'm getting upset.
Yeah.
I'm getting upset.
Is it because I limited the number of beers in the room?
Topic at hand.
No, it is because it's the stupidity and the hypocrisy of the United States government to ban crap like that because it's an easy target, but your critical infrastructure,
and this goes
your
right
water
back.
treatment plants, your electrical grids, all that stuff runs off chips made in China. We did an episode about this back in the summer.
It all goes back to the same thing as like the TikTok ban, right?
Yes.
It is a short-sighted thing to get political notoriety around a topic without ever actually addressing what the underlying issue of that topic is.
I'm with you. I would much rather buy an American-made drone than a Chinese drone.
Oh yeah, I would buy them in a heartbeat if they'd make one.
Here's the thing. As long as it was 100% American. But that company, I don't think exists.
No, it doesn't.
And if it does, I apologize for whatever drone company is out there.
It doesn't exist.
Reach out to us.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah.
But so it's, and I get the national security issue. But again, if you're going to do it for one thing, you got to do it for everything.
Yeah.
And if you do it for everything, you're going to bring this country to its knees when you start ripping out all the Chinese manufactured
you might as well
stuff.
just flip the off switch.
Honestly, it's kind of like, and we may get some flack for this. I don't know. Who knows? But the green energy push by China, right? So China recognized 10, 15 years ago that if they cornered the green energy market, wind and solar, that everyone would have to buy their stuff because no one else was doing it at the time. It was a 10-year plan whenever they started.
Yeah.
And now it's coming to fruition, and you would be hard-pressed in order to be able to catch up with them. We've done a little bit better than I think originally China would have thought with that, but we are still lagging behind them on the number of components that are made.
Before they started that program, we were the leading solar and wind manufacturer in the world.
And so this is kind of the same thing, but in reverse. We're recognizing that China has this huge industrial pipeline whenever it comes to technology manufacturing, and recognizing what potential ramifications that may have for us, both economically but also national security wise. But instead of us making a 10-year plan to correct it, we're trying to correct it within a year or two through legislation.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to happen.
We're not trying to correct it. We're just trying to get rid of the problem. So Chinese drones are a security risk. Fine, they're banned. They get rid of. Great. So what's going to take their place? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, because there's not anything, and you can't spin up anything fast enough. There's some good drone manufacturers in the United States that are trying to do what they can. I mean, personally, they if you truly want them to compete with the Chinese and get to where we're going to get and get the price points where they need to be, at least for a while, they need to be subsidized.
Well,
I mean, they have to be.
I can 3D print drone parts,
Right,
and make my own drones with Arduino and our Raspberry Pi. My 3D printers are made in China.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They are. I don't know of an American 3D printer manufacturer out there. Mm-hmm. So that's one option out the window. The other thing is the Arduino and Raspberry Pi. I'm pretty sure the IC, that ESP32 chip, I think was it 75% of them are made in China.
That was the statistic you gave last time, yeah?
Yeah, something like that. So I'm all for American business doing this stuff, right? But I don't want my iPhone to cost $10,000 either.
Yeah, yeah.
And I damn sure don't want a drone to cost $20,000. Like if I'm a hobbyist or an enthusiast.
That's where we're at right now. Like I said, we're paying about $6,000 for most of our drone kits that we're doing right now, and most of the replacements that we're looking at are in the ballpark of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000.
Yeah,
and it pretty quickly becomes an unsustainable drone program, which could push us to the direction of deciding to not have one.
Right.
And it's become an essential tool from the marketing perspective. It's become a tool that clients expect us to have.
Right.
From the news gathering aspect, it's basically given every size market in the country a helicopter in the sky, which is something that only the top 10 markets in the country had before.
Right.
Because they were so expensive and risky. And then you have from state to state, the states individually making it difficult. In Texas, it's hard to fly a drone for journalism. Mm-hmm. Because in Texas, if you're flying for journalism, then there's a lot of rules that apply to only you. If you're flying that same path, but you're doing it for commercial work, or if I'm doing it for a promo or something like that, I can fly to my heart's content. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But if I'm covering a news story, there's privacy issues and concerns and violating people's private property without getting personal permission from every person's. They're trying to say people. As a matter of fact, Texas tried to give people ownership of the first 400 feet of airspace above their place.
Okay,
but they can't do that. The FAA
just go fly to 500.
At the time, the FAA said no. But see, the deal with the drone, you can't.
Yeah,
400s are max altitude.
Right.
Yeah.
But aren't there other things that
for
operate
your
in
drone? Maybe.
Well, to fly under FAA rules and regulations, maximum altitude is 400 feet.
We love the FAA.
So that's
we in the room
been the struggles to find that replacement. It's not out there. Not a good one.
Yeah. Again, and I know we've beat this to death, but United States government, if you're listening, please sponsor us.
Oh my God, a tank just arrived.
In the
I
legislature,
did request a tank one time.
you did, and I bought you a tank.
Mm-hmm. Little model.
It was a
toy model.
1:72 scale, but I did buy it for you.
Should have been more specific.
Right. If we have any legislators that are out there, man, pick a lane and stay in it.
Yeah.
Pick a freaking lane and stay in it. Don't tell us Chinese technology is bad on certain things. It's either bad or it's not.
Well, and have a pipeline to be able to replace it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's my big thing is I do agree with some of the national security concerns. I mean,
Yeah,
we
of course.
see it. We see it in
Yes.
what we do.
Yes.
There's things talking back to China that I found like recording equipment and stuff like that, sending things back to servers in China whenever there was no real good reason for it to be doing so, and it was all encrypted. And I mean, we ended up shutting it down and saying, yeah, that doesn't need to be on the network anymore. But you can't just get rid of things and not have some kind of pipeline for being able to replace them, because the reason why these things exist in the way they do and why they're so prolific is because people need them.
Yeah.
And as long as people need them, that need's not going to go away just because you put a ban on it. But now you've created a hardship and potentially an economic, I guess, drop whenever these services can't function.
I'm old enough to remember that when the United States government would say, "Hey, we need to pull together as a country. This thing is bad." Almost 70% of the Americans would get behind it, and we would pull together. And we may not like it, but it was for the greater good, right? And we would all pull together. I'm sad to say those days are gone.
Long gone.
Yeah.
If you asked everyone to give up the internet for a day
It'd be
for
impossible.
national security,
It'd be
it wouldn't
impossible.
happen.
No.
Oh, I'd do it. I'd be glad to do it.
It's become a kind of an oxymoronish thing to me of this dichotomy of the
Let me check
more,
my email right quick.
the more I learn about technology and the closer I am to this industry, the more I'm ready to go out in the middle of the woods and find a log cabin and stay there.
You do have some Kaczynski vibes working for you.
I'm not gonna. First of all, that has nothing to do with a log cabin in the woods.
He was in a log cabin in the woods.
Yeah, but to plan other things, like he had other problems with society. I want to stay away from the tech.
You got the beard.
This is Mountain Man. This is not Kaczynski.
If you want to stay away from the tech, you're in the wrong industry.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the tech. The tech is fun. I just don't like what it can do.
I do have to say, do you remember?
Stay clear from it.
Do you remember a show? It has been 100 years ago, but Grizzly Adams.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I get that one a lot, actually. That is one I do know because of how often I've been compared to it. What is it? The slow turn with...
Yes. Well, no, that's Robert Redford, I think, is what you're thinking about.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's a Grizzly Adams meme.
No, it's not.
no, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's a Robert Redford meme.
I
Okay.
used to. I don't think I've ever seen a Grizzly Adams meme because it's so distant in the past.
Yeah, and
But,
I think that show only ran for like 2 years.
Yeah, it was a. I don't know. It was an interesting show. It was on whenever I was, I don't know, 10.
For those in the more modern era, I typically get Zach Galifianakis.
Who?
Zach Galifianakis?
The comedian. Zach
I have
Galifianakis.
no idea what you're
Due
talking about.
date, Hangover. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
The Two Ferns.
What?
Yeah, you bet. Between Two Ferns.
The hell are y'all talking about?
All right.
This beer is real good.
All right.
Do you know who he is?
Who?
Zach Galifianakis.
Yes, I do.
Okay. As long as it's just Richard.
Yeah, well, anyway. Speaking of that, do you think Knight Rider had Chinese components? Like kit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it was 80% made in China.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. The time it may have all been Japan.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. China wasn't technologically advanced then, right?
In
No,
the
that-
eyes of the government, did it matter?
No.
No, not at all. All right. Well, we are up on an hour. So, Daniel, thank you so much for putting
pleasure.
up with us and giving us the information, giving me something to go rage about later down in the pub.
This was kind of fun because it was an adjacent topic. But
Yeah.
It wasn't like full on cybersecurity, but it goes to show you how much of the security function is within all technology, all IT.
We'll be sure to give you a Scinary book. There'll be a $5 in there. Just be sure you fill out that survey for us, please.
You got that fiber on you?
Hey, Richard.
So, join us next week when I think we have Greg Babbitt.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, joining us from Palmer ISD, which we're going to talk all things related to K-12 cybersecurity and challenges of being a tech director in K-12, because we know there are plenty. So until next time, thank you for everyone for joining us and listening. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sayonara.